There comes a moment in many lives when the room grows quiet, phone stops ringing, the invitations fade, and the world seems to move forward without looking back. It is in that moment that a difficult question rises from the depths of the heart. Can I still be happy when I have no one? Many people spend years believing that happiness arrives through companionship, approval, or the comforting presence of others. They are taught to measure their value by the number of people who stand beside them. Yet life has a way of removing the noise and leaving us face to face with ourselves. And when that happens, we discover something remarkable. The most important relationship we will ever have is not with another person. It is with the soul that wakes up with us every morning and lies down with us every night. Being alone is often described as a tragedy, but it can also be an invitation to listen to your own voice after years of hearing everyone else's. An invitation to recognize that your existence carries meaning even when no audience is watching. There is a quiet power hidden inside solitude, a power that teaches you how to stand without applause, how to smile without permission, and how to find light without waiting for someone else to bring it. The world may tell you that happiness belongs to those who are surrounded by people, but some of the deepest forms of joy are discovered in moments of stillness. When you begin to understand that your heart is not empty simply because it is unaccompanied. You are not less valuable because someone left. You are not incomplete because no one arrived. You are not forgotten because nobody called your name. Today, we will explore how happiness can become an inner home rather than a destination built by others. We will uncover the strength that grows in solitude, the freedom that comes from self-acceptance, and the peace that emerges when you realize that your life remains precious, meaningful, and beautiful even when you walk the path alone. The greatest misunderstanding about happiness is the belief that it begins when someone else arrives. From childhood, many people are taught to associate joy with companionship, approval, and belonging. They grow up believing that happiness is something given to them by friends, family, lovers, or communities. While human connection is valuable and beautiful, it is not the foundation of lasting happiness. The foundation is the relationship you build with yourself. Without that relationship, even a room full of people can feel empty. With it, even solitude can feel rich and meaningful. The person you spend the most time with in life is not a friend, a partner, or a relative. It is you. Every thought, every memory, every fear, and every dream travels with you wherever you go. If your relationship with yourself is filled with criticism, doubt, and rejection, no amount of external affection can completely fill that emptiness. You may receive compliments and still feel inadequate. You may be surrounded by people and still feel unseen. Happiness cannot thrive in a place where the self is treated like an enemy. Learning to appreciate yourself is not arrogance. It is an act of recognition. It is understanding that your value existed before anyone praised you and remains after anyone rejects you. Too many people place their worth in the hands of others. They wait for someone to choose them, notice them, or validate them before they allow themselves to feel important. This creates a fragile form of happiness because it depends on circumstances that can change without warning. People leave, relationships end. Expectations fail. When happiness is built entirely on external foundations, it trembles whenever life shifts. A healthy relationship with yourself begins when you listen to your own voice with kindness. It begins when you stop measuring your worth against the accomplishments, appearances, or approval of others. It grows when you acknowledge your strengths without denying your weaknesses. Every person carries imperfections, regrets, and unfinished chapters. The goal is not to become flawless. The goal is to become accepting. Self-acceptance allows you to see yourself clearly without turning every mistake into a reason for shame. There is a unique freedom that comes when you enjoy your own company. Silence no longer feels threatening. Time alone no longer feels like punishment. Instead of running from yourself, you begin to understand yourself. You discover interests that are truly yours, dreams that belong to your heart, and values that do not depend on popular opinion. You stop chasing every opportunity to be accepted because you have already accepted yourself. When happiness grows from within, relationships become additions rather than necessities. You can love people deeply without depending on them for your entire sense of worth. You can appreciate companionship without fearing every moment of separation. Your joy becomes more stable because it is rooted in something that cannot be taken away by distance, disappointment, or change. The relationship you build with yourself becomes a source of comfort during difficult seasons, a source of confidence during uncertain moments, and a source of peace when the world around you feels unpredictable. Many people fear solitude because they mistake it for loneliness. They see being alone as evidence that something is missing from their lives. They believe that growth happens only through constant interaction, conversation, and companionship. Yet some of the most important transformations occur in moments when no one else is present. Solitude creates a space where distractions fade, expectations become quieter, and the voice of your own heart can finally be heard. What initially feels like emptiness can become fertile ground for growth, self-discovery, and inner strength. When people are constantly surrounded by others, they often become accustomed to defining themselves through external roles. They are someone's friend, someone's partner, someone's coworker, or someone's family member. While these identities are meaningful, they can sometimes overshadow a deeper question. Who are you when no one else is around? Solitude invites you to explore that question honestly. It allows you to step away from the influence of expectations and discover what truly matters to you. Growth often requires reflection, and reflection requires space. In a world filled with noise, notifications, and endless demands for attention, solitude offers a rare opportunity to pause and examine your life. It gives you the chance to look at your experiences, your choices, and your dreams with greater clarity. You begin to notice patterns in your thinking. You recognize habits that help you and habits that hold you back. You become more aware of the fears that shape your decisions and the beliefs that influence your actions. Self-discovery is not a single moment of revelation. It is a gradual process of understanding who you are beneath the layers of expectation and performance. Solitude helps uncover parts of yourself that may have been hidden for years. You may discover passions you ignored because they did not fit someone else's idea of success. You may reconnect with talents that were forgotten beneath responsibilities and routines. You may realize that some goals you have pursued were never truly yours. In the quiet moments spent alone, your authentic self has room to emerge. Inner strength is also developed in solitude. Strength is often imagined as something displayed publicly, but much of it is built privately. It grows when you face difficult emotions without immediately escaping them. It grows when you learn to comfort yourself during disappointment, encourage yourself during struggle, and trust yourself during uncertainty. Every challenge you navigate alone becomes evidence of your resilience. You begin to understand that you are more capable than you once believed. Solitude teaches patience because there is no crowd to distract you from the work of becoming. It teaches independence because you learn that your well-being does not always depend on external support. It teaches confidence because you discover that you can make decisions, solve problems, and continue moving forward even when no one is guiding you. Over time, the fear of being alone begins to lose its power. What once felt like isolation starts to feel like freedom. What once seemed like a void becomes a place where wisdom, clarity, courage, and self-understanding continue to take root and flourish. Loneliness is one of the most misunderstood experiences in human life. Many people see it as proof that they are unloved, unwanted, or disconnected from the world around them. They fight against it, fear it, and often do everything possible to escape it. Yet, loneliness gains much of its power from the meaning we attach to it. When we believe that being alone automatically means something is wrong with us, the feeling becomes heavier. But when we learn to value our own company, loneliness begins to lose its grip, and solitude transforms into something entirely different. The fear of being alone often comes from the belief that our worth depends on the attention of others. Society frequently celebrates popularity, constant connection, and busy social lives. As a result, many people feel uncomfortable when they find themselves spending time by themselves. Silence feels awkward. Empty spaces feel threatening. They assume that happiness must be waiting somewhere outside of them, in another conversation, another relationship, or another source of validation. This mindset turns loneliness into a constant burden because satisfaction always seems dependent on something beyond their control. Valuing your own company changes that perspective. It begins when you recognize that your presence is enough. Instead of seeing time alone as evidence of absence, you start seeing it as an opportunity for connection with yourself. You learn that your thoughts, interests, and experiences have value, even when they are not being shared with anyone else. You stop treating solitude as a temporary condition that must be endured and begin treating it as a meaningful part of life. One reason loneliness becomes painful is because people often use solitude only as a waiting room. They spend their alone time wishing they were somewhere else, with someone else, living a different reality. Their attention remains focused on what is missing. When you learn to appreciate your own company, your focus shifts. Instead of constantly counting what you lack, you begin noticing what is already present. You discover books that inspire you, hobbies that challenge you, ideas that excite you, and moments of peace that might have gone unnoticed in a crowded life. Valuing yourself also means becoming your own source of encouragement. Many people depend entirely on others for reassurance. When praise disappears, confidence fades. When support becomes unavailable, motivation weakens. But when you develop a healthy relationship with yourself, you learn to provide some of that support from within. You celebrate your progress. You acknowledge your efforts. You remind yourself of your strengths during difficult moments. This inner companionship creates a sense of stability that cannot easily be shaken by changing circumstances. As your appreciation for your own company grows, you become less desperate for approval and less afraid of being alone. Relationships remain important, but they no longer define your entire emotional world. You enjoy connecting with others because you want to, not because you need constant validation to feel complete. This shift creates a deeper sense of freedom. You can enter relationships from a place of wholeness rather than dependence. Over time, loneliness loses the authority it once held over your life. The silence that once felt uncomfortable becomes peaceful. The moments you once dreaded become opportunities for reflection and renewal. You begin to understand that being alone does not mean being abandoned, and your own presence becomes a source of comfort, confidence, and quiet companionship that follows you wherever you go. One of the most liberating truths a person can discover is that their worth is not determined by who stays, who leaves, or who notices them. Yet many people spend years measuring themselves through the actions of others. They feel valuable when they are chosen and insignificant when they are ignored. They feel confident when they receive attention and doubtful when they do not. This way of living places personal worth in the hands of circumstances and people that are constantly changing. As a result, self-esteem rises and falls with every acceptance, rejection, compliment, and criticism. From an early age, many individuals are conditioned to seek approval. They learn to associate recognition with value and rejection with inadequacy. When someone praises them, they feel important. When someone overlooks them, they begin questioning themselves. Over time, this creates a dangerous habit of looking outward for confirmation of something that should come from within. The problem with this approach is that other people's decisions are often influenced by factors that have little to do with your true worth. Their preferences, fears, circumstances, and limitations shape how they respond to you. Yet many people interpret those responses as a judgment of their entire identity. When someone leaves your life, it can be tempting to believe that you were not enough. The mind often searches for flaws and mistakes, convincing itself that if you had been smarter, more attractive, more successful, or more agreeable, things would have turned out differently. But another person's departure does not erase your value. Relationships end for countless reasons. People grow in different directions. Priorities change. Life circumstances shift. Sometimes people leave because of their own struggles, not because of your shortcomings. Allowing another person's choice to define your worth gives them power over something that belongs solely to you. The same principle applies when people fail to notice you. Recognition is pleasant, but it is not proof of value. Some of the most remarkable qualities a person can possess are invisible to casual observers. Kindness, resilience, integrity, patience, and courage often develop quietly, without applause or acknowledgement. The absence of attention does not mean the absence of significance. A flower does not lose its beauty because no one stops to admire it. A star does not stop shining because no one is looking at the sky. True self-worth emerges when you understand that your value is inherent rather than earned. It is not something granted by popularity, status, or approval. It exists simply because you exist. This understanding creates emotional stability because it frees you from the exhausting task of constantly proving yourself. You no longer need every person to like you. You no longer view rejection as evidence of failure. You begin to recognize that disagreement, distance, and misunderstanding are natural parts of life, not verdicts on your character. As this perspective grows stronger, you become less vulnerable to the opinions and actions of others. Praise remains enjoyable, but it no longer controls your identity. Criticism may still hurt, but it does not destroy your confidence. You learn to appreciate yourself regardless of who applauds, who walks away, or who overlooks your presence. The foundation of your worth becomes rooted in your own understanding of who you are, allowing you to move through life with greater confidence, dignity, and emotional independence. Many people spend their lives searching for happiness in places outside themselves. They believe joy will arrive when they find the right relationship, achieve a certain level of success, gain recognition, or acquire the things they desire. While these experiences can certainly bring pleasure and satisfaction, they are often temporary. Circumstances change, achievements lose their novelty, and external sources of happiness can disappear without warning. Lasting joy is different. It is not something that waits for perfect conditions. It emerges when you create meaning, purpose, and peace from within. Meaning gives life depth. Without meaning, even accomplishments can feel empty. A person may reach goals they once dreamed about and still feel dissatisfied because achievement alone does not answer the deeper question of why they are living the life they lived. Meaning is found when you connect your actions to something that matters to you. It may come from helping others, creating something valuable, learning new skills, expressing your creativity, or living according to principles you deeply respect. When your days are connected to a sense of meaning, happiness becomes less dependent on what happens to you and more connected to how you choose to live. Purpose provides direction. It gives you a reason to rise each morning even when circumstances are difficult. Purpose does not have to be grand or world-changing. It can be as simple as becoming a better version of yourself, supporting the people you care about, pursuing a passion, or contributing positively to your community. The power of purpose lies in its ability to move your attention away from what you lack and toward what you can create. Instead of waiting for happiness to appear, you begin building a life that reflects your values and aspirations. Peace is equally important because happiness cannot flourish in a mind that is constantly at war with itself. Many people carry unnecessary burdens of regret, comparison, resentment, and fear. They replay old mistakes, compare their journey to someone else's, and worry endlessly about things beyond their control. These habits drain emotional energy and make joy difficult to sustain. Inner peace develops when you learn to accept what cannot be changed and focus your energy on what can. It grows when you stop demanding perfection from yourself and start appreciating progress. It deepens when gratitude becomes stronger than dissatisfaction. One of the remarkable things about meaning, purpose, and peace is that they are available regardless of your circumstances. You do not need a large audience, a perfect relationship, or constant validation to cultivate them. They are built through daily choices. Every act of kindness, every step toward a meaningful goal, every moment spent appreciating the present contributes to a deeper sense of fulfillment. These experiences create a form of happiness that is not easily shaken because it comes from the way you relate to life itself. When meaning guides your actions, purpose directs your energy, and peace settles within your heart, joy begins to arise naturally. It no longer feels like something you must chase endlessly. Instead, it becomes a quiet companion that grows stronger as you align your life with what truly matters, allowing fulfillment, resilience, gratitude, and contentment to take root in the deepest parts of your being.